Okay, so this is a short video to walk you through the process of submitting a map to Canvas. It's not super easy, but as you establish the routine, it'll be fine. It'll be no problem. Okay, so first I have a couple slides to kind of describe it abstractly, and then I'm actually going to do a walkthrough of the map we were working on last time, the Canada listicle. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to export to PNG in Rationale Online. A PNG is another type of image file, just like a JPEG. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to download the image straight in this special format from Rationale Online to your computer. One of the wrinkles, though, is that probably what's going to happen is you're going to have to allow pop-ups for it to successfully do that, because your browser's probably initially set up to not accept a website shoving files at you, which is a good security measure, but in this case we want to allow it for this website because this website is good and we want it to shove stuff at you. Okay, so I've got instructions here. I will show you directly how to do it in Chrome. Safari is a little bit differently. I think the current version of Safari is you have to find preferences, then security, then in that long list of security things you want to uncheck the checkbox that says prevent pop-ups. Okay, but in Chrome it's a different spot. I'll show you exactly where it is. Every browser should have something similar. They all usually have a default where they prevent pop-ups from websites that haven't been requested explicitly. So you are going to have to do this on whatever browser that you use. Usually if you search settings for pop or pop-ups or pop-ups, you'll find whatever setting it is and be able to do what I show you here later to get it done. Okay, and then after we actually get your browser to accept the file that's being shoved at it, we're going to save that PNG, probably most conveniently, to your downloads folder. It's going to come with a weird code, a weird name, which you might feel tempted to spend the 2 seconds renaming. Don't bother, because we don't need to rename it. All we need to know is where to find it, downloads folder. So that, because the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert that PNG into a Word or Google document. So we don't really need to, we just need to know where to find it. It's going to be the most recent thing in your downloads folder. So you just pick that and then you're done, and you can forget what it's named. It doesn't matter, because in that Word or Google Doc you're going to insert from computer, locate it, and then because it's now a doc, you can then go into Canvas and submit it there. Okay, and then I will have a little bit more detail about how that's involved, but let me walk you through that whole process so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here I am. Canvas worksheet is up. After you've finished changing stuff, probably good, save it again, just to make sure that any changes that you have are properly saved before you go do new stuff or servers crash or anything like that, right? It doesn't auto save, so you have to make sure that you manually save from time to time. I think if I try and navigate away from this page, it gives me a warning saying you have unsaved changes, but I wouldn't guarantee it. Just make sure you get in the habit of every time you do something, save it. Okay, so I'm going to go to the output ribbon, and you can see here it says export. That's what I'm going to pick, that. Export to PNG, and then you get this pop-up right here, and it says, you know, how dense, how much resolution do you want me to pack into this PNG? The default here is perfectly fine. It's only when you get something that's maybe 7 or 8 boxes wide, so it's really looking wide where you have to zoom out, that you'd want more pixels here, but 1024 is just fine. So I click OK, and this is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to spawn a new tab where you can see the new thing. But this probably, if you're following this walkthrough, which you should, if you're following this walkthrough on your own browser, it probably didn't do that. It probably stayed here, and maybe you saw a little brief message show up here and then nothing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my settings, and on Chrome you find settings down here, and then it pops open this tab, and I'm going to search settings for pop, and then you can see it's saying there's 2 results here. I'm going to scan down there, so I'm going to click that, default block, but you can see that it's sometime in the past I have added Rationale Online. That's why my browser compliantly opened that tab with the thing. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to just remove that, and I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do those exact same steps. And after I click OK, take a look up here somewhere and see if you can see the message in my address bar that tells me that, and it happens pretty quick, that tells me I blocked a pop-up for you. Thank you. You're welcome. Right? See, there it is. But it's going to, now it vanishes, and now it's just remained with that very subtle thing. So if I click on that, this is a very easy way for me to add to the list. Boom, do that. Done. Nothing happens. The first time you do that and say allow, now I gotta do it again. And now it'll let me. There you go. Okay. The other way to do it is in settings right here. Now if I refresh this, it's already added it to the list because I told it to. But if I remove it like that, here's how I can add manually. Which you might have to do depending on the browser that you have. Okay, so now that I've added that manually, it should still let me pop stuff up. And so I've done this 3 times. You can see each one has this randomly generated name. Doesn't matter, right? They're all the same. I'm going to right click on it. Oh, and in my video capture, you can't see the menu that I've got here. Trust me, the little pull down menu on my right click has a save image as selector. If you're using a Mac, it's control click to get your context menu. So I click that, and you can't see my save dialog window here either because it's invisible. But I'm in my downloads folder. I'm not going to retitle the file name. I'm just going to click save. Okay, and now it's downloaded into my downloads folder. Now what do I do? Now I should open up Word or Google Docs. So I'm going to go to Google Drive, new Google Docs. Boom, got a blank one, insert image from computer. You can't see the dialog, but I am now navigating to my downloads folder, finding it, boom, there it is. Okay, it looks kind of tiny. Certain circumstances you might be like, oh, I would like to, I need to make, don't worry about making it bigger. It's fine. If stuff looks too legible to read, I can always zoom, you can zoom in here and you can see that it's nice and crisp, right? When you submit it to Canvas, I can zoom in too and make it big on my screen so that I can read it. Don't worry about resizing it or stretching it because you make it look weird. Please don't make it look weird, okay? And then you're ready to go. You can either go into your Canvas and directly sideload directly from Google Docs into that assignment submission, or you can download a Microsoft Word document and then submit that into Canvas. Okay? Hopefully what I've just shown you here has been sufficient to walk you through submitting. The only other thing that needs to happen for this to be a good submission is that I need to have, it's always good for me to have the source of where you built this, and by that I don't mean copying that, okay, or anything having to, I mean you need to copy the URL of the website where the Listicle is hosted, right? And that is, you'll be able to find that in the assignment itself. So you just got to go back to the assignment itself and find that, and you're good. So copy, go to here, paste, and we're good to go. Submit that into the Listicle assignment, and if you have followed all the steps that I did, so your map looks approximately like this, and the things inside it are properly phrased, and they are complete and intelligible sentences, and they're not just topic statements, then you should get the full 6 points, maybe even on your first try, and you're on to the next thing.